Hey, welcome back everyone. You already know who this is, and that's right, you guys see the title, you see the box. I got yet another unboxing video for you guys. Man, I've done a lot of these, but today you guys see the title. It's the MonsterArts Fukuoka Decisive Battle version SpaceGodzilla. As you saw previously on my channel, I recently uploaded an unboxing for the original SpaceGodzilla from MonsterArts, the first edition. This one's the third one, the recent one from last year actually. And yeah, this pretty much is like an atomic corona beam version, like atomic red version, except without the corona beam, and different accessories. And while I yap about it, I'm gonna get into the unboxing. And so this one comes with damaged crystals as an accessory, along with the normal crystals on his shoulders. And it also comes with the what do you call the what do you call it, the thing he does with his shoulder crystals, the levitation thing, telekinesis, where his crystal lights up, or like electricity shows up on his crystal, and then he grabs Godzilla Jr. or Godzilla himself during the final battle. You know what I'm talking about? He comes with those, except this one isn't exactly the correct color, because the ones on this figure are blue. They did release a SpaceGodzilla like a few years ago with the correct green color, but for this one they're blue. Not sure why, but I'm not complaining. Accessories are accessories these days. And here we go. Alright. Here we go. Here, my camera almost the tripod almost fell, but here it is. And there you go, SpaceGodzilla Fukuoka Decisive Battle version. I hope I said that right. And yeah, so it comes with a fancy premium brown box. Okay, I'm back. I just have to get a quick drink, and I cut the tape. And so here we go. There's the top of the box. MonsterArts SpaceGodzilla Fukuoka Decisive Battle version. Let's go. And now let's pull it out of the brown box. Let's go. And here is the front of the box. Let's go. Very nice. So there's the damaged crystals accessories, and then side of the box, back of the box, promo art. Very nice. There's the telekinesis electricity for his shoulder crystals. I don't remember what these are called. I'll have to look that up. And then over here, his dorsal fins charging up as if he's about to shoot his corona beam, which again, he should have came with a corona beam for this figure, because it would make sense, but whatever. And of course he comes with damaged crystals. That's kind of the highlight of this figure, I'm pretty sure. But nonetheless, he comes with his crystals normally as well. And then here's the side of the box. Very, very nice. Trying to replicate the box from the first edition, so that's pretty nice. Bottom of the box, very nice. And yeah, let's get straight into this. Let's get this bad boy opened, and yeah, let's see. All right, simple as that. Okay, I might piss off some collectors for this, but fuck it. That's kind of weird. Why do I see the instructions on this part of the box? Okay, so that's weird. They have the instructions on this part of the box. That's crazy. So yeah, there's to replace the shoulder crystals for the battle damaged ones, and of course the telekinesis electricity put on his normal crystals. And yeah, let's pull him out. All right. Okay, I'm back. Had to take another quick drink because I'm thirsty as hell. I just got back from work and it's like 11 p.m. right now at night, so I was exhausted, but let's get him out of this tray. I don't feel any tape. Yeah, there's no tape. Okay, out this side. Okay. Put that to the side. And again, why did I get 2 SpaceGodzilla figures from MonsterArts? I think you guys know why I got these SpaceGodzilla figures. Yep. The hype for Godzilla Kong Supernova is real. And here is the telekinesis shoulder effect. Very nice. Definitely gonna display these. Here's the other one. Very, very nice. Here's the battle damage crystal. That is well done, actually. Really, really good. It actually looks like it's damaged, like carved or whatever, you know. I see. And now SpaceGodzilla. So this figure came out last year, and with the SpaceGodzilla, the first edition I just unboxed, you guys know that was from a time when Tamashii Nations really cared about MonsterArts. They really tried. But this guy came out last year. And you know how much MonsterArts has been slacking. So, hopefully, nothing will pop off when I take him out. But we'll see. Let's see how the quality control is with this guy. So far, so good. Take this piece off. Alright, so nothing has fallen off. Very, very nice. Alright. Okay. Let me take away all of all of this stuff out of the way. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and I guess my cat decided to join in. And yeah, so here is SpaceGodzilla, the Decisive battle version. Very nice. Just testing out the articulation real quickly. Very nice. Nothing seems to be popping out, which is nice. Okay, the head. Okay, very nice. Actually, low-key, so far, yeah, the articulation on this one is actually a bit better than the OG first edition that I unboxed recently, which is up on my channel, by the way. But the articulation on this one so far, it's actually a bit better so far. Now I don't know if that's because the first edition SpaceGodzilla that I unboxed recently has been in its box for over a decade. I don't know if that had any effect, but so far the articulation on this guy is spot on. Yeah, just like with the first edition, I cannot move the torso and the chest that much, barely anything. Definitely because of the sculpt, because of this part for the shoulder crystals, and then I guess this part too, but that's not much of a deal for me, so it's alright. And then the legs. Yeah, definitely the articulation on this guy is better than the first edition one. Nothing is stiff or loose. Very nice. Oh, that is really, really nice. And again, the tail. Very nice. Very, very nice. Excellent. Very, very good. Off to a great start so far. That is beautiful. The articulation. And something I kind of like noticing now is like the paint. I've seen people talk about like the paint isn't as good as the first edition, and I somewhat agree with that. But it's not bad at all either. Like, it's still beautiful. It's still a beautiful looking figure. Like, look at the dorsal fins. Sure, it doesn't have that like really fancy purple shading that the original has, but nonetheless, it looked really nice, especially with some of them being reddish, pinkish. It's a really nice pattern. Very, very nice. Beautiful looking figure. Just like the original. It's going to be an awesome compare. I'm going to compare the two. I actually have the original one on standby close to me, so I'm definitely going to compare the two when I do size comparisons. And let's take a look at his accessories again. Let me see if I can put these on. Let me just look at the instructions real quick. Okay, so I got the telekinesis effect part on the shoulder crystals, and I believe this is how you display them. And like when it comes to like putting it correctly, I think this is how you do it. That's what it looks like on the instructions thing, if you guys can see that. I mean, it fits perfectly fine, so I'm gonna assume this is how you put it on. And nonetheless, this is awesome. This is such a cool accessory to have. This actually looks really, really nice. And honestly, whichever one I'm gonna display between my two SpaceGodzillas, whichever one I'm gonna display with the Corona beam, I'm absolutely gonna display it with this effect, these effects too. This is awesome. Also, something I forgot to mention, when I opened when I got him out of the plastic crate, I was immediately hit by a strong smell that the new figures have. You know what I mean? Like the plastic, I don't know, like that one new figure smell. That's like really satisfying. You know, collectors know exactly what I'm talking about. And when I opened this guy up, I was hit by a strong smell of that. I don't know, I just wanted to mention that. There's something about that smell that's so good, not gonna lie. That like new figure smell. But nonetheless, let's try to get these damaged crystals on. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna put them on, and yeah. Okay, so here is SpaceGodzilla with his damaged crystals, and that is actually really nice to put on. It actually looks really nice with them on, not gonna lie. Like you can see a little bit of the crevice or like the line or whatever you call it. But nonetheless, that's actually really cool accessory to have. Very easy to put on too. So that's really nice. And yeah, I'm probably not gonna display him like this, to be honest. I'm just gonna keep his normal crystals. Depending on which SpaceGodzilla I'm gonna display with the Corona beam. Because I honestly don't know which at this point, because both of these figures are beautiful. They are both fantastic so far. I'm really liking this one as well, just like I love the first one. But honestly, again, I prefer a Corona beam to go along with this guy as well. But nonetheless, these are really cool accessories to have. And yeah, let's get on to articulation. Okay, so for articulation, I decided to put the normal crystals on for this, but his jaw can open up nice and wide. The head and the neck are on ball joints, so you can move his head up. Can't really move it down too much. Yeah, not that much. You can move it left, right. Very nice. Yeah, I can't really get it to look down too much. even with the, well, I mean, that's the best I can do. Anyways, the arms, they swivel back and forth like that, and then go forward and back that much, forward this much. Very nice. A nice bend at the elbow, and then the hands are on ball joints. A little stiff, but it's not that big of a deal. Same applies with the other hand, you know, same thing. Again, the torso and the chest, I can't really move it too much, probably because of the sculpt, but that's mainly because of the design, not Tamashi's fault at all. It's just the way it is because of SpaceGodzilla's design. Legs, they can spread out like that. Split, barely, which is fine. A nice bend at the knee. And then a joint on the shin. Of course, a ball joint for the feet. Very nice. Same applies for the other leg, of course. And now the tail. Multiple ball joints. Completely filled with ball joints so you can move them freely. Very nice range of articulation there. Always one of the most satisfying things about SH MonsterArts. And yeah, that's gonna be it for articulation. Yep. Closer look at the spikes on the tip of his tail. Very nice. So articulation is not too much, but it's perfect for what it is because it's SpaceGodzilla. And he's not really like a mobile. He mainly like spams his Corona Beam, uses his telekinesis, his force field, and all that other cool stuff. He flies. Very awesome kaiju. SpaceGodzilla is definitely a top 3 kaiju in my opinion. Absolutely. So hopefully we're gonna see him for Godzilla Kong Supernova. And yeah, let's get on to size comparisons, and then we're gonna compare this guy with the OG first edition of SpaceGodzilla from Tamashi Nations. I have it on standby, but first, let's do some quick, fun size comparisons. So let's get to it. Okay, one more thing before I continue on. Just like the original SpaceGodzilla, this guy is translucent, as expected. Well, that's very nice. Ooh, even the spikes on the tail. Well, that's really nice. The shoulder crystals are not as translucent as the original, but that's fine. Okay, so for some quick size comparisons, here he is compared to the Hayatoi's Energized Godzilla from Godzilla Kong the New Empire. As you can see, SpaceGodzilla is more on the small side. So that's that. And then here he is compared to the Demon Eagle Fit Son Goku. Very nice comparison right there. And then here he is compared to the Bandai Movie Monster Series Shin Godzilla. Again, SpaceGodzilla is more on the smaller side. And then lastly, here he is compared to the Playmates Evolved Godzilla from Godzilla Kong New Empire. This could work. This could definitely work if you're going to display these two together. And then with Kong as well. Obviously different, huge difference in detail and everything. But nonetheless, for now at least, until we get our own figures for the new SpaceGodzilla from Supernova, if he shows up in a movie. For now, this will do if you want to display Godzilla, Kong, and SpaceGodzilla together for your own Supernova display. And yeah, that's gonna wrap up for Sky's comparisons. And now on to comparing him to the original SpaceGodzilla. Alright, so here is the new SpaceGodzilla compared to the OG first edition SpaceGodzilla from 2012. The moment you guys have probably been waiting for. Here it is. And man, I'm not gonna lie, definitely a very interesting comparison. Look at the dorsal fins, the tails, tip of the tails. There's actually a big difference there, not gonna lie. Closer look at the heads for both of them. Very, very interesting. Okay, so again, let's compare their accessories. The original comes with the Corona beam and a unique stand for the Corona beam with the crystals, as you guys saw from my unboxing for him recently. And then for the new SpaceGodzilla, he comes with his telekinesis effects for his shoulder crystals. A repainted version, I should remind you. And then of course he comes with the battle damage shoulder crystals. So when it comes to accessories, the new one comes with more, but I slightly prefer his accessories more. The original, the Corona beam and the stand. If this guy came with the Corona beam as well, this would be the definitive figure, I'm not gonna lie. Now, let's talk about the figures themselves. As you can see, the paint is actually different. This one's a lighter blue, this one's a darker blue, this one's more accurate, especially with the detail, the shading on the dorsal fins. Well, I'm not sure if that's accurate. That might just be like a style design for Tamashii Nations. But nonetheless, this one has more effort into the paint. Just barely. You can sort of see what I mean. Like the paint on the dorsal fins on the neck. Here are silver. Here is just like white, which is fine. There's actually there's a bit more paint on the newer figure, but nonetheless, both of these figures are beautiful figures to have in anyone's collection. Again, the tip of the tail, the older one has the shading, the purple shading. The new one does not, if my camera will focus. So both of them has their own style, I guess, especially because this one's pretty much like lighting up his dorsal fins as if he's about to charge and shoot his Corona beam. Again, he should have came with the Corona beam, but nonetheless. So they kind of have their own unique style. I guess it's a question of which one you prefer. Honestly, I prefer the more accurate one, so I would have to go with the older one. But nonetheless, I'm really liking this one too. Like, I'm not even joking. Really, it's literally on par with this guy in my opinion. They are so freaking awesome. Amazing figures to have. And I guess that's a little comparison. There's not really much else to say other than this guy came out over a decade ago, so he's gonna be very expensive, I will say, if you're trying to get one of them. If you want a definitive SpaceGodzilla, it really comes down to the price, how much you're willing to pay. Both of them are fantastic figures. But if you want a definitive SpaceGodzilla, I have to say this one, the original, is very expensive since it came out over a decade ago. Whereas this one, he's definitely hit aftermarket prices. And not to mention, he was a premium Bandai exclusive, a one production run, just one run, and then that's it. They don't really make any more of this guy, neither with him. So both of them are kind of rare at this point, but this one's more rare. This one only came out a year, like last year, so aftermarket prices aren't too bad on this guy. I paid around 200 bucks for this guy. He costed 160 when he released, not including tax and shipping, so 200 for this guy isn't too bad when it comes to our aftermarket. This guy, however, I paid 300 bucks for this guy. I'm not gonna lie. I was so excited for Godzilla Kong Supernova. I didn't give a shit. I got them both. And you know what? I'm satisfied. I paid a lot of money, but you know what? I'm satisfied with this. I am a huge Godzilla fan, and SpaceGodzilla is absolutely a top 3 kaiju of all time. And I can't wait for Supernova. Hopefully he shows up in the movie. I don't know, I just prefer him much more than Gigan as the villain, but we'll see. But regardless, I paid 300 bucks, which was the cheapest I could find, because I've seen him for 500 bucks and more. So considering this guy came out over a decade ago, new mint condition, I say I got a good deal on this guy considering how rare he is. But nonetheless, if you want a definitive SpaceGodzilla, it all comes down to the price. And of course, keep in mind the accessories you're gonna get too. And again, if you can find a deal for this guy, absolutely pick it up. But if you don't find any good deals on him, they're all way too expensive, and you just want a SpaceGodzilla in your collection, definitely go with this guy. He is your best option, your cheapest option right now. Obviously, I prefer the original just barely more. But nonetheless, I am super glad to have this guy in my collection. He is fantastic. Both of them are. And so the way I see it, whichever one you get, it's a win-win, in my opinion. But now, something I want to test out. Can I put the accessories on this guy? You can. That's very nice. I like that. You can use each other's accessories on them. Obviously not the shoulder crystals, the damaged ones, because this one, the chest, is actually a different sculpt. They pretty much like cut out the crystals so that you can take them out and replace them. Obviously this guy, it's all one piece, so you can't take out the shoulder crystals on this one. So that's that. But nonetheless, the Corona Beam, let's display him with the Corona Beam. And let me get this to line up. And there we go. There we go. There we go. This is why he should have came with a Corona Beam. It makes sense. His dorsal fins are glowing as if he's charging up his Corona Beam. This guy should have came with Corona Beam. So keep that in mind. But nonetheless, I have both of them in my collection now, so I'm probably going to display this guy with the Corona Beam. And matter of fact, I forgot which side they go on. Oh geez. I think this one came here. No. Which side was it? Can't remember, not gonna lie. I think this one. Yeah, that one went there. And then, yeah, boom. Look at that. That is beautiful. That is so fucking cool. And again, you can use all these accessories for the original SpaceGodzilla as well, if you want to. I honestly don't know which one I'm gonna display with all these accessories. I might give him to the original and then have this one displayed with the damaged. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, I'm really excited to pose these guys around. And yeah, so overall, I gotta say, this is yet another fantastic unboxing, fantastic figure in my collection. Super happy to have in my collection. And yeah, that was my unboxing for the SH MonsterArts SpaceGodzilla Fukuoka Decisive Battle version. Another fantastic figure in my collection. Definitely in my top 10 figure list of the year. Probably in the top 3, along with the original SpaceGodzilla, to be honest. Both of them are fantastic. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and or subscribe. You guys have a good one, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.